Breaking news, England have announced the squad for their test series against New Zealand next month, and the first one, of course, under the new captain Ben Stokes and the new coach Brendan McCullum.
Indeed they have. It'll be a real time of change for England cricket, isn't it? And this is the squad. As expected, James Anderson and Stuart Broad are back in. There's a first call-up for the Durham fast bowler Matthew Potts as well. The 23-year-old's got 35 wickets this season, including 4 5-wicket hauls. Harry Brook also earns his first test call-up. He's been in prolific form this season, scoring 758 runs for Yorkshire at an average of 151.6, by the way. Well, Brook or Ollie Pope could bat at 3. Former captain Joe Root is expected to return at 4 in the batting lineup. So there you go. Get more reaction on this. We can speak to former England opener Nick Compton, who joins us now. Nick, thank you so much for coming on this morning. What's your initial thoughts to that squad?
Well, I think it was the squad that was probably going to be expected. My initial thoughts are that it's pretty similar to the team that have played the last 17 tests but have only won 1 match. So I don't see a huge change there. I think the problems for me are at 1, 2 and 3 and have been for some time. And I guess the other concern is the lack of bowling options, of course. Broad and Anderson return, which is great, but there's no Archer, there's no Wood, and surprisingly no Robinson, who has injury doubts.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the batting and the bowler there. Yorkshire batter Harry Brook is in there for his first test call-up. Matthew Potts, the Durham seamer, is there for the first time as well. What can you tell us about them?
Well, I think it's important that you pick people in form, and Harry Brook has been in great form, but he bats at number 5. And I think if you look at the selections that they've made there, you've got Bairstow, you've got Pope, and you've got Harry Brook, who are, you know, exciting players. We know when they get going, and Harry Brook is one of these. He's already represented England in the shorter form of the game, and he's in great form. Look, he's got a lot of talent. I played against him. I saw him at first hand, and you could tell immediately when you play against someone like that they've got a significant future. So hopefully he gets the crack at number 5. But I do think that England still have their issues at 1, 2 and 3. Who's going to bat number 3 is the big question. Is Brendan McCullum going to take a forward step and put someone like Johnny Bairstow up to number 3 to play a more aggressive role? That would be the question. But some exciting names in there. I think Brook and Potts, they've been in good form, so that's a good step.
Yeah, just to pick you up on what you're saying about who bats 3, Nick. I mean, obviously, Ollie Pope's in there, Harry Brook as well, who we've just been talking about. I mean, you've mentioned Bairstow. Who would you shove in at 3? I take it, reading between the lines, you're suggesting Bairstow would be your pick, would he?
Not really, no. I wouldn't go that way at all. I mean, I think I would have selected a slightly different setup. And I've been saying it for some time in English cricket. 1, 2 and 3 is a really important part in terms of getting the right foundations to the innings. I mean, I think we've got a plethora of 4, 5 and 6 batsmen who can go out there and take the game to the opposition. Of course, Joe Root's moving back to number 4, where I think is his preferred position. But, you know, looking at this lineup, I think Bairstow would probably be an obvious choice, or Ollie Pope. But you have to understand that these guys aren't batting number 3 in their respective clubs. So they'll be batting out of position. And I think when you move up a step and face the likes of Trent Bolt and some of this good New Zealand attack, it's not going to be easy. And they've been wanting. We saw that in the Ashes.
Nick, we did ask you to pick the squad that you would have chosen. So talk us through your choices. We'll bring a graphic up of it for the viewers.
Yeah, sure. Look, I've gone for something a little bit more solid at the top of the order. Yeah, it's not me there. It's not Nick Compton. It's actually...
We put you in, Nick. Sorry, mate. Yeah, we put you right at the top there, buddy.
I tell you what, I'm willing to get the whites back on. No, it's actually my cousin Ben, who's been in great form. He's averaging just shy of 100. And I know he's 28 years old. He's come into the game slightly late, but you've got to pick people on form. And, you know, what I'm interested in is not players necessarily with the sort of credibility and the talent that we're always looking for, but what job they can actually do. And I like to see players at the top of the order who are getting in very often. You know, Ben's got 690 runs. He's got in virtually every time he's batted. And apart from him, you know, Brook has obviously been the outstanding batsman this season, but he bats at 5. Ben opens the innings and probably the toughest place. Sam Robson's another compatriot of mine who had a chance with England, scored a Test 100, and I think is a better player now. I think knows his game a lot better and also is a bit more of a wise head. And I think you need that at the top of the order. You know, and Zach Crawley, I think his preferred position for me would be at number 3. I think against the moving ball, he nicks it too often, and he's often caught behind. So I think coming in at number 3 will suit him. He's a bit more of a stroke player. He's someone that gets on a good wicket and gets in, can really take the game away from the team. Of course, Joe Root's there. And David Malan, I think when he has played for England, he's batted at number 3, which again is out of his position. But I think out of in the country, I would say he's probably the most adept player to come in at the number 5 position. He has experience in all forms of the game now. He's played a lot of cricket. And England needs some experience now, I think, particularly with this new setup, new coach, new director of cricket. Of course, Ben Stokes is there. And Bairstow, for me, I mean, he is the best batsman, wicketkeeper we have in this country, in my opinion. I think he hasn't done a lot of keeping recently, and I'm not sure how eager he is to do it. But when he has done it, and when he did have the gloves and batted at number 7, he's very destructive. And then I went for Robinson because I feel that Robinson is probably the outstanding bowler in English cricket. I know there's been questions over his fitness, and we'll have to hopefully get an update on that. But he is a centrally contracted bowler, and I think he's outstanding. I think he's the natural successor to Jimmy Anderson. And I put Craig Overton there just in terms of they're obviously not gone with Robinson, so they'll probably go with Overton. I think Leach deserves a proper go. He was messed around during the Ashes, brought in for one game, not played when he should have. I think now's the time to let him, really get comfortable in that position and be the spinner. Of course, Anderson and Broad to follow. We know a lot about them. But, what we haven't got there is probably the advent of pace. There's no Archer, and there's no Mark Wood, who did a great job in the Ashes. And there's another left field option for me would be Jamie Overton, which is Craig's brother. I mean, I watched him this weekend bowling with a lot of pace, and he brings something very different and also can give it a whack. So it'll be interesting to see what McCullum does. It's early days. I think, for him, it's about wise leaders. I mean, they will want to take their time to assess the situations, understand players, understand the dynamic, and also he'll need to get more familiar with some of the English players as he's not been here for a while.
What I would have loved is if you'd have put Compton and Compton as the 2 opening batsmen.
The problem with that is you'd bore everyone. I don't think you'd get any tickets or anyone into the game, to be honest.